We are now joined by Denny Hamlin, driver of the number 11 FedEx Ground Toyota, our pole sitter for Sunday's Pocono 400. This is Denny's This is Denny's second pole of 2014. His first pole came this season at Bristol. This is a new track qualifying record set this season by him. Also the second, which he also set at Bristol. Third pole at Pocono Raceway. His previous two Pocono poles came in his rookie season in 2006, and both of those resulted in victories as well. Has 4 overall victories here at Pocono. Blistering speeds out there today, new track record. Just talk a little bit about your qualifying run.
It was really good throughout each session. We were definitely not a pole-winning car after practice, or really, I didn't think even throughout the first round we were 12th. I think we were 24th in practice. Then we went to 12th after the first round, 6th, and then the pole. So we just kept getting our car 3 to 4 tenths better every time we ran it. And a little bit of that is repetition, me getting all I can get out of the race car. Darian made right adjustments throughout each session. And so, really it just all worked out for us for a pole run. So very, very proud to have that, especially on a racetrack here where, track position is going to be premium. So looking forward to Sunday now.
Okay, we'll open it up for questions for Denny. Please raise your hand. We'll start right here in the middle.
Zach Sterniolo, Pocono Record. You haven't had as much success here since the repave and the shortened race from 500 to 400. Having a run like this today, do you feel like you have a better chance to win on Sunday now?
Yeah, definitely. It gives you, that advantage. The number 1 pit stall is really good, especially for yellow flag stops, but it hurts you a little bit on green flag stops simply because you don't get the momentum as you exit pit road, because pit road speed is so fast here that it's similar to a super speedway in the sense that number 1 pit stall isn't an advantage. So, but we'll take it. It'll be good. Most of the stops I imagine we'll be doing will be on yellow flag conditions. We'll be trying to keep ourselves up front as much as we can all day. But like I said, as tough as passing is, it's better to be up front than having to battle through traffic.
Okay, we'll take our second question back here from Nate.
Nate Ryan, USA Today Sports. Kind of following up on that, Denny. Your 4 wins here, I don't think you started lower than 6th, but yet if you look at some of the recent winners, like Gordon started 27th 2 years ago, Kane started 18th last year. I know track position is important, but can you count on a guy like Jimmy who starts 20th Sunday, or Kenseth, your teammate, who I think starts outside the top 24? Are those guys still going to be factors even though they're going to be outside top 15?
Yeah, I mean, maybe not at the beginning for the first half, but certainly after. Pit strategy really gets jumbled around here a lot to where it allows people to play some different strategies. And it allows you to pass cars on pit road, not necessarily as much on the racetrack. So I think that's where a lot of the race winners you've seen, they've had great and fast cars. And I remember each one of those two, Gordon and Kane, they had very, very fast cars. But when you have some pit strategy that can leapfrog you all over, past all those cars, it makes things a lot easier. So you definitely can't count anyone out, no matter, as long as they have a fast car and get it right on Saturday. Typically, it just makes their job slightly harder for Sunday, and they need cautions to fall their way here and there. But typically, they can figure out some strategy that'll put them up front at some point. Yeah, and a lot of times guys will come in and choose not to pit, because if you put yourself up front, you will not go a lap down if you pit under green. So even if guys have to pit in like 5 laps, they won't come in. They'll just choose to do it under green because it will help them, leapfrog all those cars. So there's tons of different ways on these big racetracks where you don't go a lap down when you pit that you can mess with your strategy.
Okay, question?
Hi, Denny. Holly Golembeski, Drafting the Circuits. Last year, you finished 43rd in August, and you've had some mixed success and non-success in the past 6 races especially. What would you say to the critics before today who counted you out for this weekend?
I don't know. That's a good question. We haven't been that strong here since the repave. Honestly, we definitely, this is handling has not been a big of an issue at this racetrack since the repave for obvious reasons. There's a lot of grip. The speeds every time we come here, we set a new track record and go faster and faster, which makes passing harder and harder. And we haven't qualified that well. So, just a handful of things that make you off here and there, whether it be aero or engines and things like that. That these racetracks are almost like super speedways now, in the sense that you've got to have the fastest car in the right track position to win them. Where back when I was winning in 06, 07, 2010 in the old racetrack, you could make up tons of positions. I think we were 15th with 10 laps to go and made our way to the front. That would never happen today, simply because the cars are running so fast and they're so equal. So, it's just, hopefully this is a sign that as the track's wearing out, we're starting to get our edge back at this racetrack. So I mentioned that in our pre-race notes that I hope that this racetrack is aged a little bit, because when it was old and worn out is when we were really, really good around this racetrack. And obviously with the temperatures and everything that the sun does to this racetrack since we've been here last, it's obviously working its way to our advantage again.
Okay, we got a question here in the middle. Go ahead.
Hey, Denny, Mike Coons with the Pocono Record. Because of your history here, your success that you have had here, because of the strides that you made just today, do you feel like you're the car to beat now?
It's until we run tomorrow, it's really honestly tough to say. Typically though, when you have a car that can get the pole, it tells me that we have all the parts and the pieces in the car that should be capable of winning. So there's no excuses there. None of our Joe Gibbs teams tested here, which is a small disadvantage that we'll have leading into Saturday, working on our race setup. But we chose to stay in race trim all during practice. We only got one qualifying run in, which I was a little frustrated with our team only putting me out there once to do this mock qualifying, but it all worked out for us great. So, hopefully that pays dividends. All that time we spent in race trim today will hopefully lend itself to being a good race on Sunday, because we've obviously got to kind of start from scratch with our race setup.
Zach Sternio, the Pocono Record again. Talking about the speed that you had, that everyone has this time around. That everyone's getting faster. The fields are getting faster here. The bigger spoiler this time around, is the draft going to be a bigger factor? Is that going to help the passing, or do you think it's going to be strung out again?
It's a double-edged sword. I think that it will lend itself to very crazy restarts, in the sense that you'll see them fanning out 2 and 3 wide. Side drafting is huge with this big old spoiler that we have on the car. The drafting will be big for a few laps, but at these racetracks that are newly paved, the trouble is that the groove becomes very, very narrow. And not just this racetrack, but all the new paves. The groove is narrow, and with such a big spoiler, you're punching a huge air, just like a tractor trailer is punching in front of you on the highway. And with the groove being narrow, you can't get out of that wake because you're in the dust or something like that. So the track's just not wide enough. It hasn't moved around enough. So, as these tracks get narrower and narrower, and the holes that the cars punch get bigger and bigger, it makes passing tougher. So it's just a part of the game we got to play. Everyone's got the same thing, so you just got to do it just a little bit better than everyone else.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Seth. Go ahead.
Seth Livingstone, NASCAR Newswire. Denny, what's your take about the new configuration in Turn 2? What difference do you think that'll make in the race?
Well, I got probably a handful of guys that I have an idea that would try to do that, try to cut the racetrack, and it's not going to be good for them when they try to do it. It's a cool idea, but the new asphalt is like 2 inches higher than the old asphalt. It's not a smooth transition, so you're going to rip your splitter right. I mean, literally, you're going to just tear your whole front end right off the car if you try to cut that corner. But somebody's going to get forced probably down there at some point, and I'll be interested to see how the outcome is of that. But you can't use it like Phoenix, because at Phoenix you're running 120 miles an hour. Here you're running 190 going into that corner, and if our cars are now running on the asphalt, so if the new asphalt is 2 inches higher, physics ain't gonna let that happen. So it's a cool thought, but it's just it's not gonna be usable.
All right, final question. Okay, David in the back, final question.
I need to follow up on that, David Carvello, NASCAR.com. I mean, do you think a restart, like a late restart or a green-white checkered, is going to be the time when somebody maybe tries to do something like that, or do you see it maybe being situational?
I think all the Cup drivers are smarter than that. But I mean, I'm telling you, the new asphalt is so much higher, and there's it's not smoothed out at all. It's not a smooth transition, so it's literally like you just hit a huge jump when you hit it. So like I say, the only reason someone's going to go down there is if they get forced down there, and if they get forced, they probably are going to be turning hard left into the garage as soon as they get to the front straightaway.